Oh, and we're off. I'm really driving the show. I am 100% in the driver's seat. Welcome back to another edition of the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. I've only been waiting 3 years to do the intro, so it's good to be in the seat. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
I got Jake this morning.
Yes, you did.
I'm feeling superb. I'm feeling good. I'm eating good. So, you know how the saying goes, if you eat good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, you get paid
Well,
good.
I think it's this inverse thinking that people think when you work out, you're going to be more tired. Well, you are right now because we are pushing you extra hard this week. But it is a motivating, rejuvenating activity for you. I'm working out with Lori Salarillo now, training her, and she worked out and she looks at me and she goes, I had more energy than before when I didn't work out. And I go, exactly. It fuels your body. The nutrients you put it back into it after are very important. So it's cool. I'm up to about 5 people on the Get Jake program. Super excited to be back to really coaching one-on-one, building those relationships with people. So it's been an absolute great May so far.
Nice job. Very much enjoying it. Enjoying hearing about other people's journey too. So really good stuff. People committed to getting better every single day. This morning, Mark Nudelberg is on the Big Bird heading to Indianapolis for a big meeting for Get on the Ball. So he'll be working with Gino Valdez. Gino's got to do a huddler in the hot seat. People really know what a cool human he is. So, but yesterday we broke tradition and we actually went to a lunch event. The only reason why we would go to a lunch event is for Joy Linsky. Joy was part of what they call Crew Tank. They put 4 entrepreneurial ladies up on the dais there, and they asked them questions, and they looked at other businesses. It was a really fun event at the Tower Club. Shay, if you can put that back up for a second. I want to give a shout out to our girl, Shari Cedar. She was there. So it was nice to see her. We got to sit and eat lunch with her. But great job by all. Jewel-toned interiors, man. Great job.
I guess my invite's still in the mail, or what was
Listen, three Nudelbergs in the same room. Gonna be tough to get some oxygen.
I know we talked about it, I think, or you guys talked about it a couple of days ago, but going to a meeting, the 3 of us, is a really unique experience. I've been a part of some big meetings in the football world. I've been a part of some big meetings with Mark, been a part of big meetings with you. It was kind of really the first time the 3 of us got to do it together. And the way we danced together was really fun. We fit together, we played off each other in a way that I think the time we spend together during the week, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which is something new that we've put in this year, has allowed us to operate at a way higher level. We feel more comfortable with each other. We're crystal clear on what we do, who we do it with, and why we do it. I think it shows in the way that we come off to people. So
very well said.
I'll give myself my own boom for that. But it is.
You continue to impress me because there was a spot in that meeting where you threw something in, you spoke up. That's a really strong quality, especially when you're with 2 A personalities who are sucking up all the air. Boom, you threw something in there. So without blowing too much smoke up your ass, you did great. Nice job. Exciting things happening there. Exciting things happening with Mark. But I'm most excited about you taking the show today. So let's wait.
So I probably was supposed, before we get to Wake Up Music, I probably was supposed to be on yesterday, but we had to highlight Mark's TEDx speech, which we are super excited about. Buy tickets. If you haven't, Shay, please throw the promo code in there today. So we are going to have a sports update. The sports update has changed a little bit because Toronto, New York, and the Warriors all, fended off, elimination. But we're going to have a great conversation about grit, building grit before the actual moment, before you really need it. But before we get to that, we do nothing before Wake Up Music.
Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe this to have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more about the thinking, top of thinking ahead. Come on now.
Gotta say, Romy Wallach, congratulations. She's a big Leafs fan. She got to see a playoff game with her son, which
if you haven't seen that post, I would definitely go read that post. Romy, amazing post. I'm excited to talk to you today. I was selfishly hoping it was 4-0 when I got on that call, but we'll definitely have a lot to talk about.
Well, it was just great because we got to talk to her yesterday. She still had faith. She still believed, which is what you're going to talk about. And then I learned a new term this morning, the gentleman's sweep. So instead of a 4-0 sweep, which it could have been, we're going to let them off the hook. And we're going to come back.
There is a gentleman's sense of being in the sporting world where you don't sweep people. It's very disrespectful to sweep somebody. I think to lose 4 games in a row to anybody is tough. Scott Garber, go Leafs, go. That hurts me, honestly, a little bit coming from family, but I understand.
That could be exile. That would mean throw him in the bathroom. Right?
So I think that leads tremendously into the conversation we're going to have today, which is the grit conversation. And Shay, can you just throw up the definition of grit, please, if you have it? Dad, can you read that, please?
Sure. Possessing indomitable spirit. Great word, spirit. Having a drive for achievement, regardless of upbringing or situation. Earning success in the trenches through hard work, which is, I think you could substitute the word success here. Success is doing the work, not winning or losing. That we could kick up the failure conversation as well.
Well, it wasn't. I was happy you said that because I was possibly going to get there, but I think the Leafs showed a lot of grit last night. And one of the first things they asked the coach, and I forget the exact verbiage that he used, but he goes, "Were your guys ready or whatever, or are they confident?" And he goes, "I don't think we ever stopped being confident." He goes, "We're trusting the system, we're playing hard." And I think it's about learning a little bit. You talk about the Knicks. Knicks, after they lose 3-1, Jalen Brunson goes, "I think we're learning. We're learning how to do this and how to be in these positions." And let's talk about the Panthers first. And
wait, because you brought up Brunson. One of the things he said is, we spent our time complaining. We realized we needed to focus on playing the game, not on the circumstances that were happening right in front of us. And that is tragic when it happens in business because people lose sight of what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. And I think that comes from the lack of pushing yourself and preparing for those situations. There are ways to build grit that when it arrives, you're ready to roll. And I'll use this example. 3 years ago, when the pandemic happened, you showed grit. There was resolve. You woke up the next morning. That didn't just come naturally. That was a muscle that you were able to flex because you developed it through the years. Oh, hey. Ooh.
Thank you.
Right. But so let's talk a little bit about the Panthers, right? If you don't know about the Panthers story, they were dead to the wall. Absolutely dead to the wall. They had to win every game. Right. Perfect, Shay. Can't sign players, make a trade, get no cap, not our year. They're 13th in the East, no trades. Again, make no trades at the deadline, decide to make no changes. They have to, I know there's another part of that tweet, I forget the exact ones, but it keeps going on where they have to win all these games. They end up playing Toronto in a must-win situation. And I really want to play the video of what the coach does.
There, Paul Maurice letting his team have it at the bench, regardless of whether this one is coming back or not.
There's the intensity of a coach trying to get your team dragged into the playoffs, as he's saying, you had control of this game. You got a 1-goal lead, and he's not happy with the results of his team and the way that they're playing.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
There is beauty in the struggle. They struggled all year. You look at the Heat. The Heat are down 3 with 3 minutes left to go in the play-in game to lose. The Lakers lose play-in game 1 or down 8 going into the fourth quarter. All 3 teams are now there, right? And they are showing the grit that they've been building through the years. Spo talked about it. He goes, we believe that we are preparing for this moment. We're not worried that we're struggling. We're going to continue to do the right things because it's preparing us to achieve in the moment, right? So when it's 3-1 against Boston, they out-hustled them every game after that, right? That's intensity, that's guts, that's resiliency, that's tenacity that they're showing. Boston didn't know what to do. Boston, when it got to game 7, was like, we haven't built this muscle. We haven't gone through what we need to do. And it was really something really cool that we used to do at football that I loved. And he called it controlled chaos. I want the week to be as hard and as confusing and all this chaos going on so that we're building the muscle to achieve in those situations because we know it's coming. And it's the same thing in the business world. Everyone's talking about uncertain times now. It's always been uncertain. There is no certainty. It's going to change tomorrow. It's going to change next week. It's going to change next year. If you're not doing the things you need to in order to build that muscle, to put yourself in positions where you're pushing yourself, where you're setting goals where you might not achieve them and you have to persevere, you'll never be ready at the moment where you actually need to act. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that, Dad.
Well, so it's interesting the way you put that about the pandemic. The pandemic was the ultimate, like, oh shit, like nobody had ever been through anything like it. So you couldn't be prepared for that, but you could be prepared in general. And Laurie says you have to want to build grit. I don't even think it's that. When it happens, you either embrace it or you run away from it. A lot of people during the pandemic ran and hid. I'll wait till it gets normal again. Those were not the people that came out of the pandemic, with growth. I had this conversation with Brendan Neath the other day because he mentioned the word recession. And I go, I don't believe there's a recession. I think it's what you choose to believe. And so, I showed him, I sent him a list of the 10 companies that were created during recessions. And he goes, wow. He goes, of all of the calls we've ever had, this just shifted my brain. Grit is a shift in your brain to say, okay, I'm confident enough in myself that I can do this. LeBron doesn't listen to the shit.
This is one of my favorite graphics right here. And keep going, but I want people to read and understand what grit is and the actual intangible things that you're trying to develop. And you can get all these things by other avenues in your life consistently, in your workout, in your relationships. Like you can set all of these and overcome things, overcoming fear, bouncing back from things, the hardiness, the tireless purpose, finding purpose. So continue, sorry.
Well, what's interesting, and I ask this exercise of every, client that I work with, I go, describe yourself in adjectives to me. And if they don't go there, like any one of those descriptions, tells a lot about a person. If they don't go there, we can help you build that. So it is a muscle, very much like in the gym. You can build it, you can face it, you can, embrace it, I think. And so, Laurie, I think, you can stand by, you want to build it. I think it's true of anything. You want to get better now, so you're in the gym. Seth Godin put out something this morning. He says, about learning. He goes, if you don't have engagement, the learning is bullshit. You can absorb it, but you're not understanding anything. When you go through traumatic times in business, which most of the most successful people in the world will tell you, it wasn't a straight line. They always go through, ups and downs. It's the downs that taught them what they were capable of. So under indexing yourself and then all of a sudden hitting a bump in the road, if you face it and you knock it out of the park, that builds confidence. Like, okay, it's fascinating because all the stuff we talk about, I think points to this kind of mentality that creates winners.
And so if you have kids, like putting your earmuffs on, because I'm going to say it, but it's having the fuck it mentality. It really is. Like, fuck it. Whatever the situation is, whatever the things you can't control in the world are, what are you doing? What are you doing? Every person on the basketball court, every person on the hockey, ice, they have to do their job. What are you going to do? And if you're not going to help us, get out of the way. Don't play then. That's why teams start playing different players. And I want to do this as an exercise. The Lakers, everybody knows Anthony Davis and LeBron James. A lot of people might know Lonnie Walker because he played at UM, but I'm going to preface it a little bit. They're in the third quarter. They're struggling against the Warriors. This guy has been left out of the rotation. This guy has had more trauma in his life, sexually abused, physically abused through his life, is now in the NBA, has overcome all this adversity. They put him in the fourth quarter without playing for weeks. They made a bunch of trades. They replaced him. He could have said, poor me. He comes in, he scores 15 points in the fourth quarter. Thank you, Nick Mao. And I want you to hear what the coach says in the locker room. And there's a picture that goes along with it. But Shay, can we play the video of Darvin Ham?
Come on now.
Gabe been giving us a lot all year, but never dropped his head, stayed disciplined, stayed working, stayed professional, stayed with positive energy, stayed with his energy, and stayed working, stayed ready, all of that. And you never know, man. You young guys, you never know. And he got put back in the fire, and he was cooking. And so, shout out to you, Lonnie.
Yeah, well,
He got put back in the fire, and he was cooking. He didn't do that like, oh, shit, I'm going in. Look at Toronto's goalie. Toronto's goalie had to get put in the second period, up a goal on a power play, and had played 11 games. They were building it every single day. Their mental, their physical ability. They're performing before they actually get on the lights, before the lights turn on. You talk to Kobe, he goes, I didn't do the work on the court. That's just what you saw from me. I was in the gym at 5 a.m. hitting shots till I couldn't miss. I worked out so hard that I had that muscle to pull from. That's why he's the most clutch player. Everybody looks at performances and doesn't think about the things that go on before the lights come on.
I don't know if you're planning on going here, but the backstory of Lonnie Walker is unreal because he overcame obstacles far beyond what most people would ever consider.
And I'm going to preface it a little bit because I don't know the complete story. I know kind of the highlights of it, but go look it up. It's an amazing story.
Or the highlights, as it were. You know.
It was right. And he was sexually abused, physically abused, and he used his hair as a way of, it's the only thing I can control and nobody can tell me otherwise. And so he grew out really long dreadlocks. And then that was his way of expressing himself and having control over his life. And he said, I always took control over the things that I could. I couldn't control what they did to me. I didn't understand it. I couldn't control it. I wasn't going to allow the circumstances to define me. Really simple. There's beauty in the struggle, and life is a life of struggle. And struggle is where growth is. It's where the reward is. It's where the fulfillment is. It's the best thing you can do is to struggle through things and put yourself through struggle. And there is a lot of ways that you can control the struggle in your life. One is fitness for me. I believe if you're pushing yourself in the gym on your athletic ability and all those things will lead to your mental being a hell of a lot stronger in the other avenues. But just an amazing story and an amazing lesson on how to stay ready.
So I want to welcome Scott Long to the Daily Huddle. Scott is a brand new entrepreneur. I met Scott when he was working for an organization. He decided, at this stage of his career, he wanted to control his own destiny. He jumped into it. And so welcome to the Daily Huddle. And as I posted yesterday, congratulations to you because you're going to need grit, brother.
I saw his post with his wife. So another fantastic about having a partner. But that's another way. Like, you want to talk about how you build grit, you build a support system that's going to push you through. Like, he had veterans. Lonnie Walker had veterans around him. The Heat have UD. They have Kevin Love. Like, there are vets on the Panthers. You have Jordan Stahl and Mark Stahl who have played for years on end. Like, there is a reason that vets have done this and they've built the muscles years and years. So super cool.
Yeah, I just think, I always love sports because sports is a metaphor for real life. And, I'm a content vacuum. I'm sucking in stuff. And Tim Grover posted something the other day, and he said, it's not about change. Change only comes from what you control. You control, if you want to lose weight, control what you eat and how you work out. If you want anything you want in life, you control the ability to do the behavior. And while we say it, and think it all the time in our practice. It's constantly reiterated by other people. And that's the fascinating part about the internet for me, is that it's this unbelievable library of brand new content all the time, which the day starts in the morning. All of those people that you talked about built grit from the moment they opened their eyes.
Right.
Boom.
In every avenue of their life, they do not accept anything less than the standard. And I'm having great talks with people who run businesses, and holding people to a standard is now becoming a hard thing. You know, people accepting standards are going to be high, and it's an okay thing. Having high standards is good. You want to work in places, but high performers and mediocre performers don't like each other. They just don't. They are not willing to do the same thing. They're not willing to operate in the trenches. People don't want to go to the trenches. It sucks there. It does. But some, when what he said about Lonnie Walker, he learned to cook. You learn to cook in fire moments. You do. And it translates, and you're ready for the moment. And it's so much more rewarding when you're able to flex those muscles. So I love that you do it. I love that we do it as a business. We teach people to do it. I'm obviously super fucking passionate about it. I love pushing myself. I do. I don't get a lot, it's really cool. So I if you do nothing outside of that, embrace the suck. Yes, Jonathan Aaron's like, do it in all avenues of your life. Push yourself to be more committed to your family. Push yourself to do things that push you out of your comfort zone. It's the only way to grow. It's the only way to find passion and meaningfulness, and grasp onto it. Work hard for it, because it's really, really rewarding once you do it.
I will close with a story that it only happens in real life. We lived in Weston. I went to a gym in Weston, and turned out that The Rock went to the same gym. And this was long before The Rock was The Rock that he is now. But he was in there working, and everybody was buzzing. And one morning, me and Andy Yaffa walked up to him and said, "Hey, we're part of the early crowd. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Don't want to interrupt you, but obviously we know who you are. What's one thing you can share with us that has kept you going?" And he goes, "I'll always be the hardest worker in the room." And like when he said it to me, I felt like my feet were nailed to the floor, because you control that. That is something you don't need anybody else. You don't need motivation.
Do you know why he's the highest paid actor? And it has nothing to do with his skill. He's actually not a great actor. If you watch his, I love the guy. His movies are pretty atrocious, but he works harder than everybody. He's willing to do the things other people won't. People get there, they make that money, and they go, "I don't need to do that anymore." He says, "Fuck that, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to keep doing my 4:30 workouts." Mark Wahlberg's another one, to his commitment to his faith, persevering through all of that. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to my soapbox. Tomorrow we have
great, man. You took over the Huddle, baby.
It was I was passionate, and I hope Toronto doesn't show any more grits. I hope the Knicks don't show any more grits. And tomorrow we have Henry Paisano on for the Huddle in the Hot Seat, I believe.
Paisano, who hails from, he was the original maitre d' at Materano. And so there's stories galore from him there. Then he moved on to the Hard Rock Hotel when they opened, and he was the head of the casino floor. Now he does trips to Italy. He's a super cool, interesting human being. He's going to spend some time with us. So
make sure you also sign up for the in-person Huddle. The Huddle is the code to get $100 off. Come learn, come network. We're gonna be at JA, a great place. An absolute great Thursday. Take it off. Shay, let's actually leave with motivational music, because I actually love this song. So let's leave it with that, and then let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave.